After the discovery of the half-frozen body of Louis Masgay, the noose began to tighten around Kuklinski and his boss, Roy DeMeo. Under pressure from law enforcement, DeMeo began to act erratically, and the family felt he was about to crack and testify against them. There was no question in their minds. He had to go. In 1983, DeMeo's body was found in a trunk of a car. He had been shot 5 times and had been dead a week. There were some who thought Kuklinski might be responsible.
Do you know anything about his murder?
DeMeo?
Yeah.
He outlived his usefulness. And he was running the wrong way. Apparently everybody thought he was going to run to the law.
What did you feel when he was killed? What did you feel about it?
I was all broken up over it. I got a bridge for you, too. I want to sell you.
What?
I got a bridge for you, too. I want to sell you a bridge. I wasn't broken up over him. That was my attempt at levity. But I thought at the time it couldn't happen to a nicer person. If somebody had to die that day, it was a good day for him to die.
Over the next 3 years, the New Jersey Organized Crime Task Force concentrated on closing in on Kuklinski. When Kuklinski began to feel cornered, he started eliminating anyone who could implicate him in his criminal activities. If he called you friend, you had a problem. Yesterday's friend soon became tomorrow's enemy. One of those friends turned enemy was a man who had been Kuklinski's partner. His name was George Maliband.
Georgie boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liked him. Actually, yeah, really liked him. One of the few people I ever really liked.
But Maliband had developed some bad habits. He racked up thousands of dollars in gambling debts to loan sharks. Kuklinski had vouched for him and told Maliband he'd better pay up. Then Maliband made a fatal mistake. He told Kuklinski that if he didn't back off, he would hurt his family.
Which really struck a nerve with me. It upset me, but I was trying not to get upset with it at that time. Because I figured he was just nervous maybe and he was just spouting off, but apparently he wasn't.
But the Iceman couldn't forget that Maliband had threatened his family, and several weeks later he began to plan his murder.
We got in the van, and I said, George, you really sincere with the fact that you had hurt my family and to get back at me? And he said, that's the only way I could get you. I could get over on you, or get you to do what I wanted you to do, is to hurt your family. I said, but that's a stupid thing to say, George. I said, knowing how badly or how sincere I am about my family, I said, for you to say something like that, you must realize you're going to make me mad. He said, no, you won't be mad. He said, because you'd be afraid that something would happen to your family. I said, well, you're very wrong about that, George. I said, because I'm going to put a stop to that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a stop to that right now. And I shot him 5 times. I could see him entering, because he was right here. He was sitting in the van, I'm in the driver's seat, Georgie boy was over here. In the next seat, which was, just like that. And I went pop, pop, pop. And then I went pop, pop. And I could see the material moving on his jacket as these things. Actually, they made little marks on it, on the jacket. I guess they were burn marks. So.
Kuklinski's favorite way of disposing of bodies was putting them in barrels, but with a 6-foot, 300-pound George Malaband, it wasn't easy.
So when I got him in, I had a problem with one leg. I had a hell of a problem with the leg, I'll tell you. No matter what I did, I couldn't get that leg in there. So I had to cut it. And put the top on. And I drove down to Jersey City, where I dumped him.
The next morning, a passerby noticed a dented steel drum turned over on its side. When he walked over to get a closer look, he saw a pair of legs, one of them bloody and hacked. The body was George Malaband. Police knew Kuklinski was the last person to see him alive. The New Jersey Organized Crime Task Force now had just one mission: to gather the evidence to arrest and convict Richard Kuklinski.
The final method that was used was in fact the introduction of a undercover federal agent, Dominic Polifrone, who was able to win Mr. Kuklinski's confidence and was able to record conversations where he detailed his participation in these murders.
I portrayed myself as a hitman. Told him I worked for the wise guys downtown New York, and my brother was a good fella downtown, and I went by the name of Dominic Michael Provenzano.
I just have a few problems I want to dispose of. I have some rats I want to get rid of. Yeah. The only fucking thing I don't understand, don't you use a fucking piece of iron to get rid of these fucking people? Use this fucking cyanide? Why be messy? You do it nice and calm.
The tapes made by the undercover agent had nailed Richard Kuklinski, and his career as a contract killer was finally over. At his trial, his family learned for the first time that they really didn't know the Richard Kuklinski who was also capable of being the deadly Iceman. Richard Kuklinski is now serving multiple life sentences in New Jersey State Maximum Security Prison. Ironically, his younger brother Joey is also serving a life sentence in the same prison. When Joey was 25, he was convicted of raping and murdering a 12-year-old girl. After he strangled the girl, he dragged her body over 2 adjoining rooftops and threw her and her pet dog to the street 40 feet below.
You want to talk about your brother, or?
What do you want to talk about? There's nothing to talk about.
Because we never brought up your brother in the first show.
Well, you want to talk about him? We'll talk about him. He's been here for 7 years, something like that. He's been here a long time. 25 years, I think. Don't hold me to that.